And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, an uptick in calls lately to the show hotline. Greatly appreciate everybody that supports the Consumer Quarterback Show, all of our expert contributors as well at consumerqb.com. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in and spending some time with us. Chuck E. Cheese in the news. Chuck E. Cheese got arrested, Dave. Did you hear that one?
Chuck E. Cheese, no.
Oh, my goodness.
Actually, I did see something pop up on it.
I guess he's trying to make a little side hustle, but unfortunately, you can't take people's credit card information. So we got Millie Athanason joining us on today's show, Attorney Millie Athanason as well, law offices Millacent B. Athanason, and also interesting stats on some of the latest numbers. The numbers just in on the amount of visitors into Florida in Q2, the second quarter of the year, up from 34.279 million people traveled to the state of Florida, the Sunshine State, from April 1 through June 30. 34.435 million people traveled to the state. So good stuff there. I also want to touch on this property tax debate, the possible elimination of property taxes. Now, that's for primary residences only. A lot of people are kind of mistaking that for all property taxes. If you're still a rental property, a second home, snowbird home, maybe investment properties like Airbnbs, commercial buildings, those would still be fully taxed. What I like about the bill or the proposed legislation is that it's going to eliminate unrealized gains. Think about it. As homeowners, we're being taxed on unrealized gains every single year. And if we improve the property, then we're getting taxed even more. So where's the incentive there? It's a perverse incentive on improving your property, maybe adding an additional dwelling unit or something like that. But so a lot of good stuff to talk about here on today's show. And I want to let them know about Tampa Bay's Best Speed Networking event. Dave, let's tell them about it.
Best Speed Networking event here in Tampa is going to be Thursday, September 25th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Going to be at the other location, which is going to be at the 102.5 The Bone Studios, right there in Tampa.
4th Street North, St. Pete, actually. Yeah, it's right over the bridge. 4th Street North, St. Pete. It's number 300 is the suite. We got to have you registered though, because we have tight food, RSVPs, and all that good stuff. We're going to bring food and drinks. Beer and wine. It's going to be a good time.
Provided by America's Preferred Home Warranty.
That's right. Yep. Shout out to Thomas and his team, America's Preferred Home Warranty, for being our food and drink sponsor for the evening. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right into it. We've got a brand new listing on Brigadoon. This one's 103 Brigadoon Drive, Clearwater. Great opportunity. I love this location as well. Right there in the heart of Clearwater. 3 bedrooms, 3 bath. 1536 square feet, updated 3-story residence with no rear neighbors. You have a low HOA, which is only $190 a month. Access to a sparkling community pool, all in one pet-friendly community as well. Spacious bedrooms. They all each have their own bathroom. Great opportunity to buy real estate. You're close to Clearwater Beach, which is about 8 miles away. Easy access to US 19 Gulf to Bay McMullen Booth Road. Check out 103 Brigadoon Drive, Clearwater, Florida. We have a 3-bedroom, 3-bath townhome for sale right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, 118 Lakeshore Drive. This one is on Lake Tarpon, waterfront home. Have you ever wanted to own your own waterfront lake home? Well, this is your opportunity. 3 bedrooms, 2-bath, 2-car garage. You got 1,740 square feet. Quarter-acre lot at 118 Lakeshore Drive East in Palm Harbor. Beautiful boat dock with lifts for your boat and your jet skis, and 180-degree views of Lake Tarpon, which is a 2,500-plus acre lake. So you can literally cruise around that lake all day and spend a lot of time out there with family. Great opportunity. You can see all of our real estate listings. And if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or refinancing, we would love to talk to you. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
And yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
That's right. Yeah, shout out to all of our veterans out there. We love you. We appreciate you. Everybody supporting our country and keeping us safe. We greatly appreciate it. We do offer discounts for veterans, first responders, teachers, nurses, and seniors. All right, without further ado, Attorney Millie Athanason back on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And Millie, I love the topic for today, hurricane prep. I love it.
Yes, I thought we would talk about it because it's kind of apropos. The meteorologists tell us that September 10th is the peak of the hurricane season. And we would think as Floridians that we're all prepared, but it never works that way. There's always a sense of panic that happens at the time that the meteorologists tell us it's coming. You know, everybody runs to the grocery stores, the batteries are gone, the water's gone, you know, all that stuff. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the legal end of it this time.
Yeah, I love it.
So, you know, obvious things beforehand, things that you should do is just keep or take pictures of your home and structure the way that it sits in its everyday course of life to show that there's no damage to it, and keep those pictures in a safe place. If they're stored on your hard drive or something, that's fine. I mean, they're stored in the cloud. Nobody really knows where the cloud is, so that's all. It's all good. You can still access it after a storm. The other obvious things is you want to beforehand make sure that your important documents, such as your homeowner's insurance policy, your flood insurance policy, and any other related documents like that are safe and that you can readily access them, so as to be able to make claims in a very timely manner once the storm hits and the damage is done. Because these storms, we spend days talking about them before they hit, but when they hit, it's like a wham bam and it's out, you know, and so it kind of happens before you even realize it, and then everybody's standing there in a panic, not knowing what to do. So I think the first thing you need to do once a storm hits and the damage occurs is you need to document that damage. I would take photos and videos of the damage to your home, including the roof, the foundation, and the interiors. And you should write detailed notes to accompany what you're seeing visually and describe the damage's scope and any potential safety hazards. You also want to implement immediate remedial measures or fixing measures, such as, covering the broken windows and, damaged roofs with tarps or plywood to prevent further rainstorms from getting in, because, coincidentally, hurricane season's in the middle of rainy season as well. You also want to remove any standing water as best as you can to lessen mold and mildew claims. You also, most importantly, want to turn off electrical circuits in the damaged areas to not only minimize fire risk, but also to minimize electrocution issues. I think we all saw in the news a couple of years ago where people got electrocuted and got killed down in Pinellas County on the beach because a storm came in and flooded the place and nobody turned off the breakers. And
Terrible.
So that's something you definitely, people don't think about it because you're in a state of panic, but it's just something you definitely, need to do. You also, if you do any remedial measures or make any, interim repairs, you want to record those. You want to keep a good record of everything you do, like the receipts for the materials and stuff like that, so that you can ensure insurance reimbursements or, disaster aid. Because a lot of times when you make applications for these benefits, they ask you for these cost estimates or things that you've spent money on. So you definitely want to make sure that you've got documentation of it. And then you have to, what everybody dreads the most is beginning the insurance claims process. That would be the next step after you take care of the initial remedial measures. You want to, the sooner you report it, hopefully, the sooner you get a resolution. Now, I will tell you from past experiences, I've received many calls at my office where people are calling and calling and calling, and sometimes they don't get a response, or they'll call, make the claim, and it could be days before somebody from the insurance company or FEMA gets out there. And, I think that's just kind of a supply and demand. There's only so many people to handle the claims, and there's a multitude of claims because it's not like a rainstorm where it can rain on one side of the street and not on the other. It's a hurricane, so it's going to knock out the whole street. And so there's a big difference. And, I know that everybody's eager to get things fixed. I know that the administration is trying to streamline FEMA efforts, and, that's certainly great, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more easier to contact people. I've heard complaints from clients that they're afraid that they're cutting FEMA employees, and, I can't tell you the statistics on how many people have been cut or anything like that, but listen, the FEMA is still in existence. I've had people ask me if they heard on the news that FEMA was going to be dismantled. Well, we can tell you that through at least the 2025 hurricane season, FEMA is alive and well and is still there to be able to make claims for any type of emergency relief.
Yeah, and one thing I would say, potentially with FEMA, and of course, I haven't studied this issue, but I would just say, look, it's another government entity. There probably is room for cuts. When people hear cuts, they start thinking, Orange Man bad or whatever. But it's right. A situation where a lot of these companies, government entities, they're just bloated. They've been doing business for so long based on what is it called, where you zero budgeted or you have that same budget the following year. So if you don't spend it, yes. You don't get it, right? So
yep.
Tell me that they're not bloated, right? I mean, I would think they are. So.
Yes. I mean, granted, there is a lot of damage, and people complain that there's a lot of games being played in this arena. We do know that there's contractors out there that are not honest, and they're also like the supply and demand. I mean, their phones are ringing off the wall. And, a lot of times they mean well, but they yet make promises that they can't keep. And so, obviously as a homeowner, you're going to be very, very frustrated with that. You also want to look at other areas of disaster assistance. I mean, you've got your, homeowners and flood policy in place. And I know most of the listeners have been told already that if you're in a flood zone, you need a separate flood policy. Usually, and that has to usually be bought ahead of time. It used to be where you had multiple months waiting period before it went into effect, but now there are carriers that are doing it within 30 days you can have coverage. So if you haven't gotten your flood policy yet, you definitely want to make a phone call and get those. You do need to be prepared that most homeowners insurance policies have a hurricane deductible that's mandated. So, you're going to be paying, a percentage or a minimum of $5,000 to, get things started and that you're going to be responsible for. So definitely you want to look at that. But you also want to look at disaster assistance apart from FEMA. A lot of times the counties and the states will have certain, once the storm has been named, like for example, there's been separate funds for Millacent claims that are set up by the state. So there is money apportioned in state budgets as well as local government budgets in order to get assistance. And so you'll want to be pretty savvy and look on the internet to see what's out there. They do put them on the news a lot of the times, but I know everybody's in a hurry and we don't all, watch the news every single minute of the day. But you definitely, the information is out there, so you definitely want to look into it. You can call local county officials to see if they should know this information, and you can ask how to go about filing the claim. There's usually a form on the internet that you utilize to fill out, and then somebody will contact you. You submit certain documentation that the funding requires, and then they let you know if you've qualified. So don't underestimate local and state government, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's definitely a need for it, and that's a lot of the conversation behind the property tax cut is because a lot of the local and state governments are bloated. They are alleged with waste, fraud, and abuse, and that's the whole conversation around property taxes, because a lot of people don't realize it's local. It's the local municipalities, the city or the county that is raising your millage rates. And did you know Tampa Bay, Hillsborough County has one of the highest in the state. It's a dubious distinction, one of the top 5 in the country, that is, for the highest increase in property taxes. 57% property tax increase in Hillsborough County since 2019. Yes, and my friend Billy Christensen and some others, Joshua Wostow, the county commissioner, they're saying, hey, there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse happening, the alleged waste, fraud, and abuse right here in Hillsborough County. But we got to take it to a quick break. More with Attorney Millie Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking about an interesting topic, and one that is very important, and it's hurricane preparation and what happens if you have damage. What are the keys there? Reach out to the show hotline or reach out to Millie's office, AthanasonLaw.com. More with Millie coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at ConsumerQB.com or call 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. We buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com. Our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com. Looking to level up your sales game? With 20 plus years of coaching experience spanning across several industries, Lindsay Rhymes helps everyone from entry-level reps to seasoned business owners boost sales, improve work-life balance, and retain top talent with customized options catered to personal, group, or corporate settings. Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes offer training on negotiation strategy, business development, and more. Let's grow your business together. Call 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Submit an email at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team. We have Attorney Millie Athanason with us here on the show. And before we jump right back into it, we're talking about hurricane prep and what to do if you have damage during this hurricane season. Some of those ideas to start thinking about, materials to start gathering in preparation. A couple of hot listings. We'll jump right back into it. 17942 Augie Lane in Hudson. We have a brand new listing. This one is a great opportunity to buy land in Hudson, Florida, over an acre of land. You got an MPUD zoning. And I know the lay folks are like, hey, what does that mean? Well, give us a call. We'll explain what each one of these zoning things, criteria means. You have a no CD there, low HOA as well. And it's in Hernando County. Great opportunity at 17942 Augie Lane in Hudson, Florida. 5419 Cyril Drive. This one's in Dade City. This is from Doug on our team. He is a hardworking real estate agent. He works really hard for his clients, and this is a listing that we've got. Now, check this one out. You've got 2-2. It needs some work. It's a potential for an investor, but you have 2.6 acres of land in Dade City. So where you might be able to add an extra dwelling unit on that property. 2.6 acres of land that's fenced, and you can have animals there on that property. 5419 Cyril Drive, Dade City. You can see all of our listings. PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. This is God's country. All right, Millie Athanason, let's continue our conversation here. Hurricane preparation and what to do if damaged.
Yes, the other thing I wanted to talk about is vehicles, a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Is that, a lot of times people, they remember to make safe haven for the pets, and they have an exit strategy and such for themselves, but they don't think about their automobile. And many policies, if you have coverage for it, they will require you to do something on your end to mitigate the damages to your vehicle and will deny the claim if you haven't taken the steps to mitigate. So what you want to make sure that you do is that you want your car on higher ground, if at all possible, to protect your vehicle during a storm. If you can put it in a parking garage that's up several stories, that's something that can help if you're like in a building that has that available to you. Other people I know, I reside in Pinellas County, in the Palm Harbor area, and I could tell you what happens is that we do have a lot of flood zones around here, but people constantly move their vehicles to other people's neighborhoods, my own neighborhood being one of them. Usually they will move them to the neighborhood where they're not in a flood zone or it's higher ground to try to protect their vehicles in the event that a storm comes. So that's something I wanted to point out because many people don't think about their cars. They just park them in the garage and push the down button and say, okay, we're gonna ride out this one. Now, obviously, if you're evacuating and you're in your vehicle, that's a little bit different. You're not worrying about it. But I'm talking about, for the people that are staying home and
Sure.
hunkering down.
Yeah,
So
and also, Millie, what that duty to preserve, that care of duty to preserve also applies to the home. If you can tarp up the roof or board up a window, you have to do that. Otherwise, your insurance company could potentially say, hey, you violated the agreement. You didn't preserve the asset. So we got about a minute left, Millie. Back to you.
Oh, yeah. So, if you have any questions and you wanted to review your policies to see, what kind of coverages you have, because a lot of people look at their policies, they don't even know what the coverages mean in full. They'll just say, I have full coverage, but they don't really know what that means. So definitely I will review with no charge any policy if somebody wants to call the office. I'm also going to be out tomorrow at First Friday in downtown Tarpon. I'll be set up out there. If you wanted to come by and just say hello and talk about your policy, I'm happy to look at it and answer any questions that anyone may have about this topic.
And I love the 833 Ask Millie. Is that the best number for you, Millie? 833?
Yes, absolutely. It's 833 Ask Millie, and somebody will be there, answer the phone, and we'll set you up for an appointment and at your convenience. So, and we do appointments by Zoom, in person, phone, however you want to have an appointment.
Yes, that's right. Family law, divorce situations, personal injury. Millie can help you, and I would highly recommend take her up on this opportunity to have, you're having an attorney saying, hey, I'll review your policy for free. That doesn't happen very often. Reach out to the show hotline or call Millie directly at 833 Ask Millie. Millie Athanason, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. All right, AthanasonLaw.com, that's her website, and ConsumerQB.com. You can see links there as well to all of our expert contributors. Quick break, right back. Thomas Annitto making his debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about America's preferred home warranty. Also, the property tax debate is heating up in the state of Florida. Quick break, right back.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, yeah, good stuff happening. Also, President Trump considers housing emergency declarations this fall. This is kind of an interesting story just coming out in the media. But yeah, the administration's considering a national housing emergency this fall to mobilize federal powers. The proposed measure includes streamlining building permits, lowering closing costs, and offering tariff exemptions for construction materials. So that makes sense. That's good news. And then also the efforts are framed as a broader affordability initiative ahead of the upcoming midterm. So I'm liking that. That sounds pretty good. We got Thomas Annitto joining us in studio now as well, America's preferred home warranty, and we're going to talk with him. He's also a sponsor for our networking event coming up, Tampa Bay's Best Speed Networking Event. He is the food sponsor for that, and that's going to be on Thursday, September 25th, 6:30 over at 102.5 The Bone radio station down there at the Performance Theater. So save the date for that. And remember, you're invited, but you have to RSVP. We have to know who's going to be there, food and drinks and everything. So make sure you RSVP. And you can do that easily through the website, consumerqb.com. consumerqb.com. Just submit the email form. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right back into it. We've got Indigo Road. This one's acreage, man. We've got lots of land for sale. This one's 42 acres, 4798 Indigo Road. This one's in Groveland, Florida, 42 acres of land. The owner is breaking this down into bite-sized pieces, which are about 5-acre parcels. You've got land, you've got lakes, beautiful ponds. Got a 2-2 property there as well, ideal for a residence or a temporary base during your development stage. So reach out. We'd love to show you that property. Also, Maricamp Road. This one's in Ocala, Florida. Commercial property, 5,725 square feet. You got just under an acre of land. Thriving hardware store with lucrative income streams, multiple income streams coming in from the rentable sections there. Expansive lot, serves as a semi-truck parking. Seller financing available with a strong down payment. 9594 Southeast Maricamp Road, Ocala, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Thomas Annitto, welcome in studio, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming in. Tell us a little bit more about home warranties and the business. What is a home warranty?
Absolutely. Home warranty, it's there for peace of mind for the homeowner. And the biggest thing that we see is that confusion between home insurance and a home warranty. So that home insurance, I like to give the example of a washer machine breaking down. Water's going all over the place. It's affecting the drywall. Might have some electrical issues. So all the issues that came from that problem, that's going to be your home insurance. But the actual system itself, the washer machine, that's where we're going to step in. Okay, so it covers some of the components in the home, the appliances, types of things? Yes, sir, absolutely. So plumbing, electrical, AC heating, all your appliances, they're all right there in our standard coverage. Okay. Now, is this just for like real estate closings, say I'm buying a new construction home or maybe a resale, or is this something anybody listening can kind of pick up now and just have extra peace of mind? Oh, yeah, absolutely. So if you want to go online to aphw.com or give a call into our office at 800-648-5006, they'll be more than happy to assist you, get you some quotes, see how we'd be a good fit for yourself. Okay, so the website, aphw.com, that's America's Preferred Home Warranty, and we're talking with Thomas Annitto here in studio with us. And, yeah, I think, in real estate there's so many things, right? And we weren't taught a lot of these different ideas or strategies in school. We don't understand as generally speaking as consumers, and that's why we started the Consumer Quarterback Show 12 years ago to answer some of these questions. What else do you see? What do you see kind of as your number one
question that you get or a consumer tip? What comes up the most?
Something that comes up the most is a lot of people ask, are there things that you're not going to cover? Is there a gray area? Because there's a lot of confusion with home warranties where they haven't had the best name in the industry. But what we do differently is we're very transparent, where you see exactly what you're going to get with us, and it goes alongside with being able to choose your own contractor. We're going to put you right in the driver's seat. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Choosing your own contractor, that gives the homeowner peace of mind, and that they may have someone that they've worked with over the years, so that makes sense too. Kind of interesting too when you look at mentioning the word contractor. A lot of people will improve their homes, maybe redo a kitchen, remodel, maybe even add on a garage or some extra square footage, maybe what they call an ADU, that's an additional dwelling unit, they'll add on to their home. And then now you see, there's a lot of stories coming out where homeowners will unsuspectedly, maybe they've just recently moved from another state, and they come into Florida and they do these home improvements, and now their property values have gone up, which in turn increases their property taxes. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing these stories of people's taxes doubling and tripling, and I think that's a big shout out to Governor Ron DeSantis, so Ronnie D up in Tallahassee, man. They're making some moves up there. This is he's kind of like in the lame duck of what they call the governor, right? It's the last he got reelected once, and now he's out, right? So he could sit back and just kind of chill, maybe do some golfing. Who knows? I don't know if him and Trump are still friendly, but maybe go golf over there with Trump. But I love this idea of reducing or eliminating property taxes. And when I say that, sometimes some people, especially who's not going to like it, is the people that work for the cities and the counties. They're the municipalities. They're not going to like it because they're, hey, that's cutting into their budgets. That's getting into their money. But as a consumer, as somebody that pays enough taxes, think about it. We pay taxes when we earn money, when we spend money, when we invest money, when we pull money out of investments. I mean, we're getting taxed. It's kind of like the Tea Party, right? Taxed enough already. And essentially, I've been kind of studying this topic. But one of the misconceptions is, first of all, it's just for primary residences. So if we can reduce property taxes, especially seniors, I feel really for seniors because, a lot of times they bought this home 20, 30 years ago and the taxes continue to go up. Now, yes, in Florida, we do have the Save Our Homes and the Save Our Homes Acts, and it caps it at 3%. Or inflation, whichever's lower. But essentially, it's only on primary residences that they're talking about. This is going to be a ballot measure. It will be on the ballot. So start spreading the word out there is my point. Spread the word. Tell people about it. Let's go ahead and contact your state senator, your representative, and let them know, yes, I'm for this. I am for reducing or significantly eliminating property taxes in the state of Florida because, hey, look, and then the counter argument is, oh, well, how are we going to pay for and they want to try to scare you. They use scare tactics. Oh, what about ambulances? What about fire? What about roads? What about the services? Well, believe me, if you open the books, and there's initiatives to open books with Florida Doge, I guarantee you're going to find a little bit of waste, possibly some fraud, and then maybe some abuse, alleged abuse in a lot of different areas. So anyways, that's my tangent there. And because you still have other property types. So property types like second homes, vacation, investment properties, Airbnb rental properties. There's where you can make up the income. That income's still going to be coming in. And you also have the ability to change the way real estate closings happens. When you have a real estate settlement, a closing, maybe add some taxes there, or add additional taxes for tourism, for tourists coming in to the state. Maybe add on to their Airbnbs, their hotels, an additional tax, and that's how you could offset that. So I think it's a great plan, and I'm so happy that it is on the ballot because when I got my trim notice, the tax bill that comes in, it kind of says, hey, here's your estimates. Each one, I looked at my millage rate. Okay, a lot of people don't even know what is a millage rate. Well, that's the 0.00, 0.9852, those numbers that you see that are compounded based on each percentage, whether it's school board or ambulance or fire. So anyways, that's my kind of tangent on property taxes. But when I looked at mine, I was like, wow, it's unbelievable. I'm renting my land from the government in a sense, right? So if you just joined us, we're talking with Thomas Annitto, and he is with America's Preferred Home Warranty. That's APHW.com. Also a friend of the program here. And Thomas, what else do you think is topical when it comes to home warranties today in real estate as well?
Absolutely. So I think a big thing is for your first-time home buyer. So my wife and I, we bought our house 2 years ago, and when we bought it, we had just about nothing left. We had enough to maybe fix, we were able to fix some of the lights, some things that went wrong, but if a system went down, we were going to have to either resort to credit card financing. It was going to just open up more problems. So having that home warranty for your first-time home buyer is going to give them that peace of mind knowing I might not have that extra income or extra money to support that.
Right.
But I'm going to have that money to offset what could potentially happen.
Yeah, and that's a good point you bring up. First-time buyers, you're coming to the table, you're paying appraisals out of pocket. A lot of times that appraisal's paid up front out of pocket. You have some costs that are going to be able to be paid at settlement, at closing. But like you said, you have unexpected, expenses. You got moving expenses. You got I got to buy some furniture. We got to buy some bedding, things of that nature. You have these unexpected costs, and then this home warranty can actually give you that peace of mind if something were to happen, especially if it's a resale home. If it's a 10, 15-year-old home, right about the time that HVAC system might go out.
Oh, yeah.
Or the refrigerator or something. And then as a first-time buyer or even people just on a kind of a budget there, this is where that can kick in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what's normally the process with that? Do they pay a small percentage of that repair fee? Is there a service fee? How does that kind of come into play?
So there are some different deductible options that we do have. So for your single family home, we have a $50 and $100 option. And then for your condos and townhouses are going to be $75 deductible options. So they're going to pay that service fee. I'm not on the claim side, so I can't say for sure exactly how much. Every scenario is different.
Sure.
Is it going to cover the full thing? Hopefully it will. But if not, it's there to offset the cost. Otherwise, if you didn't have the warranty, then you'd be footing the full bill regardless.
Right. Yeah. So small fee, a nominal fee kind of gets you started, gets that in process. You contact the contractor. They come out, take a look. And a lot of times these things are able to be repaired. They don't have to be an absolute replacement every time. So that's a good part of it as well. When you think about that. Also, another big topic, federal rate cuts. It looks like the economy, here's some of the latest stats as well. The Bureau of Economic Analysts revised its initial estimate of the second quarter GDP growth rate to 3.3% from 3.1%. This is up from the 0.5% contraction reported earlier in the first quarter. Looking to the third quarter, the widely watched Atlanta Fed GDP Now model anticipates 3.5% growth, up from its originally previous projection of 2.2% growth. So I think when you look at that, they're saying, hey, the economy's growing, and that's over a point of GDP growth. So that's going to be good news. I think that, when you look at affordability, you look at what a driver real estate is in the market. I think this is it. We have to have a cut this time. We've got to improve the affordability crisis in this country, and we've got to have a situation where first-time buyers, veterans, teachers, nurses, first responders, police, fire, sheriffs, they can afford to live in the districts in which they serve. And in a lot of cases, they can't, especially, areas like Sarasota, Palm Beach County, certain areas, you're essentially pricing the essential workers out of that area. So we need price improvements here. We need cost of funds improvement. Taxes to go away would be a huge shot in the arm. And I tell you what, if you're on the fence out there, if you've been thinking about buying, this has got to be the best 3 to 6 month window that you're going to see, because what's going to happen when those rates drop, that's going to spur on another COVID 2.0. It's going to be like a Black Friday sale at Best Buy. Everybody running out to get that latest technology that they want, the latest electronics. But you're going to see a rush to Florida, a rush to the hottest markets, and people are going to be competing again. And then what happens when they compete? Multiple offers, highest and best situations. So get into the games, get off the fence, reach out to the show. We'd love to talk to you. 813-917-1894. Call or text our show hotline. It's 813-917-1894. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing. We would love to talk to you. And, of course, if you want to talk more about America's Preferred Home Warranty with Thomas Annitto, we'll put you in touch with him. Just reach out to the hotline. And you could also hit us up at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb.com. Final thought, Thomas, back to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I did address, that first-time home buyer. So I also want to address the other side of it. So, you were down here in Tampa, your upscale clients. So you want that trained AC installed. With us, you're able to work with those trained AC technicians, not to, shout out any individual brands or anything like that. But, for those upscale appliances, you can work with those direct people. Yeah. So we're very flexible. We work for everybody. So it's a great way to save some money and get that peace of mind.
I love it. All right, come on out to our next speed networking event. You'll meet Thomas firsthand as well. Tampa Bay Speed Networking event coming up Thursday the 25th, 6:30 over at 1025 The Bone Studio. All right, quick break. Right back, we're going to talk to Shane Socash, David Reynolds Jewelry Coin, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Alternative investment opportunities, precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, also diamonds. And he's doing a lot of good things right here in Pinellas County. Coming up next, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.